Can you talk a little bit about how clamping out a conveyor belt might have or does have an impact on locking out and tagging out or de-energizing it?
Well, it sounds like most people online know the difference between lockout and tag out. Lockouts when you put your lock on there and you put your name and your contact information, you de-energize the conveyor, you remove all energy sources. Tag out is when you just put a red tag on it and say, don't operate this equipment until further notice or until Joe gets over here with his sledgehammer and fixes it. So there's a difference there. It's two separate procedures, often confused to be one. Block out is one of the things that I push a lot, and I'll show you why on the next slide. This is a fatal accident that just happened in July. Conveyor was out of operation, evidently stopped full of coal, and a couple guys are up on the belt shoveling the coal off, and all of a sudden the conveyor rolled backwards, buried the people cleaning up at the tail end, and killed one of them. Now, I called MSHA last week to see if there were any more details available, and it's still an active investigation. I wanted to know, was there a backstop on this conveyor, or was it a brake that they depended upon? But this is a perfect example to answer that question, where if they had blocked it out as a standard maintenance routine, that conveyor belt would have not rolled back and that person would still be alive. That's why I think block out is important. Do not use 2x4s and carriage bolts. Do not use 16-penny nails driven through 2x4s. Do not use angle irons. Buy engineered belt clamps that are rated for the load, and several of the conveyor components companies like Shaw Max, Flexco, Asgo, they sell these and they're rated to hold a certain load. The other important factor is if you're clamping it off, don't clamp it off to an idler or some other component. You got to go back to the structure so it can handle the load on that clamp. Test out is also important. I don't know about you, but I've been involved in situations where you're working on a conveyor and let's say it's interlocked with two other conveyors so that you don't have one conveyor running onto a stop conveyor. Well, operators and electricians have a habit of jumping out sensors or switches that give a lot of false alarms. And it's often quite possible that you think the conveyor feeding the conveyor you're working on is inoperable. And the best way to figure that out is once you do your lockout and your block out, push the button. Does it run? And does the conveyor on either side of it run? A lot of serious accidents have happened that way.